Pull up a chair and buckle up. It's the Original Strength BodCast. Hey guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Original Strength BodCast. Today on the podcast, I would like to talk to you about a video that I put up a few years ago that seems to be getting a lot of traction in the last couple of weeks, or at least a lot of comments and questions. So I made a video about rebounding, and if you don't know, rebounding is jumping up and down on a trampoline, or a mini trampoline, also known as a rebounder. And rebounding is said to have many benefits. Some of those benefits would include cardiovascular health, strengthening your bones, your muscles, your tendons, your connective tissues, burning extra calories. And one of the biggest benefits that is often mentioned for rebounding is flushing out your lymph nodes or your lymphatic system, getting toxins, moving toxins out of your body. Often too, though, what is not ever mentioned about rebounding is that it activates your vestibular system. And the secret to a healthy, happy, strong body that lasts you a lifetime is having a healthy vestibular system. And I think that's really where rebounding could stand out and shine, because it is constantly stimulating your vestibular system, changing direction pretty quickly, up and down, up and down, up and down, and it just gives you good stimulus in your vestibular system, which is hard to say. But it helps shake tension out of your body. And again, you can look up the benefits of rebounding online. The new AI will tell you all kinds of wonderful benefits of rebounding. Anyway, my video about rebounding was rebounding without a trampoline. And that is really easy to do. And I think it's super, super convenient because you may not have a mini trampoline. And if you learn how to rebound without a trampoline, well, then you can do it anywhere, especially at work, especially if you need a really good movement break that will stimulate your vestibular system and help keep your body healthy. One of the greatest ways to stay young as long as you can, or able and capable, is to, again, move often. And if you can move in a purposeful way that actually invigorates your body and helps keep it young on purpose, well, then that's just an extra benefit. Anyway, the way you rebound without a trampoline is you just bounce up and down on the balls of your feet and let your heels gently touch the floor. This is visual, so I'll kind of show you if you're watching this and not listening. But as you can hear my voice, I'm just bouncing up and down. And again, it's easy to do. So some of the questions, though, are, well, how often do I rebound? As often as you want. You can, and how long, right? So you can rebound now on a trampoline, you can do it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you really won't get tired. Not too tired. But if you're doing it on your feet, I mean, I like to keep things simple. If you can do it for 30 seconds, awesome. Do it for 30 seconds. Maybe you rest 20 seconds or so, and you do it for 3 bouts of 30 seconds. Or maybe you just sprinkle it in throughout your day for 30 seconds to a minute, 4 to 5 times a day. Super easy to do. Some other questions have been, well, what if my ankles, I don't have good enough ankles to be able to rebound? You can actually rebound without a trampoline, without bouncing up and down on your heels also, where you would just use your knees and your hips. And again, you just change direction really, really fast. Now it's super gentle on your ankles, and you're doing the exact same thing. And if you can hear my voice, I'm still able to bounce up and down. And yes, people have written in, can you do it on a bed, a mattress? Absolutely. You can do it you could do it sitting on a Swiss ball. You could bounce up and down on one of the, Swiss ball, one of those big balls that people used to do sit-ups on in the early 90s. You can even do it on a Bosu ball. So the point is you're just rapidly bouncing up and down, stimulating your vestibular system, shaking your lymph nodes free. The other thing you're really doing with rebounding is you're allowing your body to shake tension out. And that's super important because holding tension is, it's using a lot of energy that you don't need to use. But tension is actually fear, if you think about it. So what if you could shake the fear out of your body? Gently, of course. Rebounding would be a way to do it. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. There are some interesting benefits to rebounding. I think the greatest one is stimulating the vestibular system and shaking tension loose from the body. And it just helps you feel good. It is quite invigorating, quite refreshing. All right, so I also did a podcast. The last podcast I did was with Dr. Neil Bolchandani, and he was demonstrating some tongue exercises that you can do to essentially, well, really help your entire body move better, feel better, and heal. And in his exercises, he was actually grabbing the tongue and manipulating it around all over the place. And I want to show you another way you can do things like that, and it's without grabbing your tongue. So you can stretch your tongue without having to actually manually pull on it, and you just stretch it deliberately, much like when Michael Jordan would dunk a basketball. So now this is visual, but if you do a big lion yawn, and like if you imagine a lion yawning in your mind's eye, this will probably work itself out well for you, where the tongue really reaches out and curls back around. Anyway, it looks like this. And that really stretches the floor of your mouth, the bottom of your tongue, which is connected to your diaphragm, which, as we learned if you listen to that podcast with Dr. Bolchandani, is connected to your psoas. It's really connected to everything in your body, your pelvic floor. If you have it, it's connected. Everything is connected. So if you do that lion yawn, though, I don't know if you were watching this, you can see it was also activating my platissimus muscle. That's an interesting muscle. The platissimus muscle is the muscle that lets you do this. It helps with frowning and smiling, and it really stretches your neck out in a lovely, lovely way. But just activating that muscle and stretching your tongue seems to have very, very invigorating effects on the body as well. It makes you more alert. It makes it easier to breathe. And if you were tracking with all the things that Dr. Bolchandani was saying in the podcast, it stretches that tongue and helps get tension out of the tongue, which actually helps get tension out of the body and helps everything in the body just move better, let alone breathing better. I mean, it's one thing to be able to breathe easier. That is golden, and it's the most important thing ever. But to also just move easier, that is really, really cool. So you can do the lion's yawn and use and also play with your platissimus muscle like this. And then you can also deliberately try to stretch your tongue like outside of your mouth. And this is silly, I know, but don't knock it till you try it. So you can really reach out and stretch your tongue sideways, up and down. And if you do it right, you're going to feel that stretch. It feels like someone's tugging on your tongue. But guys, you don't have to take my word for any of this stuff, because I know it's crazy as all get out. But you can test it. So you can test your body weight squat, or take a deep breath before you try to do the lion's yawn or stretch your tongue. And then do the lion's yawn or stretch your tongue, and then try your body weight squat again. Is it easier? Is it easier to get down there? Does it hurt less? Does it feel smoother? Are you deeper, or is it just easier to breathe? Can you take a big breath of air much easier? So you test it for yourself. Don't just listen to all the crazy stuff that I say. Anyway, those are some simple exercises that you can do. You can stretch your own tongue without having to grab your tongue. I mean, you can grab your tongue too, but you don't have to. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because the tongue is really is the rudder that guides the whole ship. Everything in your body is connected to your tongue, your vestibular system, your diaphragm, your pelvic floor, your psoas, all the muscles around your spine, all your cells, all your tissues. Everything is connected. And remember, tension is fear that your body is holding. So if you have tension in your tongue, well, that's fear. If you have tension in your tongue, then you have tension somewhere else in your body. Well, that's fear. What if we could move ourselves out of tension? Well, then maybe we would just feel a lot better, right? So that was my take or tip for tongue exercises. Now I want to give you I want to talk about another tip that I gave. Some of you were really pleasantly surprised and elated by the peppermint coffee I threw out there a few weeks ago. And some of you were quite disgusted. So I would like to offer another coffee tip that's really not a tip, but I find it is just delicious. If you just want to have coffee without putting peppermint in it, I would suggest or recommend that you try it with grass-fed, full-fat, heavy cream. Oh my gosh, it's just, obviously I'm a cream snob. I love full-fat, heavy cream, grass-fed in my coffee. It is just silky smooth. It's not, I know it's not crazy. It's not putting peppermint in there, but you can do that too. But it just, oh man, the mouthfeel, the taste, the flavor, it's just good. You can't beat it. Unless you want to put a little dash of salt in there with it too. Now, I know if I just lost you, I'm sorry, but if you haven't tried it, it's worth a shot. A little bit of salt, sea salt into the full fat heavy cream coffee. It's just good. And if you're super crazy and super adventurous, you can still put the peppermint tea bag in that as well. It's really good. Oh, speaking of coffee, again, I like to always share things that bring me joy. I'm often traveling a lot, so I'm always looking for really good instant coffee, because instant coffee is just easy, and if I take it with me, well, I'm not going to be disappointed when the hotel either doesn't have coffee or it's lame coffee or whatever. So I have recently found that Nestle's Gold Espresso instant coffee is really quite good. I don't know if your store sells it, but I know Amazon sells it. Obviously, Nestle doesn't know who I am. I don't get anything for telling you this other than it brings me joy to share my joy. Nestle's Gold Instant Espresso Coffee is really, really good. So if you like instant coffee, if you like traveling with coffee and you're just looking for a good instant coffee, that one has my full recommendation. All right, kids, that's really it for this week's BodCast. I hope this was somewhat entertaining and maybe educational. If you found this useful at all, please share it with your friends, family, and or neighbors. All right, that's it for this week. I'm Tim with Original Strength, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you found this helpful, educational, or useful, please share it with a friend. Now get outside and play.